This is LXBN TV, and I'm Colin O'Keefe. Are judges' decisions impacted by partisan elections? That's the question recently raised by Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor. Joining me now to share some alarming numbers and a potential solution is Rebecca Love Kourlis, a former justice of the Colorado Supreme Court and now director of the Institute for the Advancement of the American Legal System at the University of Denver. Rebecca, first, just how common are partisan elections for judges, and what have the studies revealed about their impact and the potential for bias?
They're actually more common than you would think. 7 states have partisan elections for Supreme Court justices. 2 additional states have nonpartisan general elections for their Supreme Courts, but those candidates are chosen at partisan conventions and in partisan primaries, respectively. But then there are 13 other states that have nonpartisan elections for high court justices, where the contests have taken on a partisan tone, with political parties often among the biggest spenders and candidates free to discuss their views on hot-button legal issues. The greatest impact of all of this, of course, has been on public trust and confidence in the courts. Because of the marked increase in fundraising and special interest spending over the last decade or so, citizens have lost faith that judges are actually acting impartially and deciding cases on the basis of the facts and the law. In fact, so to speak, over the last decade or so, national public opinion surveys have consistently shown that 3/4 of Americans distrust judges who are the recipients of large campaign contributions. In fact, the most recent survey suggests that it's up to 90% of American citizens who are worried about the impact of campaign contributions. And then, in a statistic that I find perhaps the most powerful of all, 1/4 of judges admit that they fear that their decision making is in some way or another influenced by the partisan political race or specifically by fundraising.
I see. And then based on the data you're seeing there at ILES, what are the best models for selecting judges when the goal is ultimately to preserve impartiality and accountability?
And you're exactly right that the dual goals are impartiality and accountability. People think that the right way to cut that equation is in favor of accountability with elections, because that's sort of our democratic way of looking at things. But in point of fact, elections don't always provide the accountability that you might anticipate. In 2012, for example, in Nevada, none of the 3 justices on the ballot were opposed. So the voters basically had no choice. That was teed up for them as essentially a done deal. In addition to which, in judicial elections, turnout is often very low. Pennsylvania elects judges in odd-numbered years and recently saw an average of 14 to 17% turnout statewide. So perhaps elections don't provide the kind of accountability that we're all looking for. ILES supports something that we call the O'Connor Plan, which is a 4-point plan that we refer to as Merit Selection Plus. It involves open, transparent, balanced nominating commissions at the first instance, where anyone can apply and is then vetted by the nominating commission, gubernatorial appointment, then robust judicial performance evaluation, where the judge's job performance is objectively evaluated by a whole series of people who appear in front of him or her. And then the 4th piece, of course, being the judge on the ballot for the voters to decide upon, but with the benefit of the judicial performance evaluation data and without the ball and chain around the judge's legs in the form of a partisan or even nonpartisan contested election. So that's how we would balance impartiality and accountability to protect the one and to provide the other.
I see. Well, it definitely looks like something needs to be done, especially in the places where there are partisan elections and even in the places where there are just those contested elections that often end up political. In the very least, it's nice to see that this is getting some attention, and it will be interesting to see if something is done about this in the near future. Once again, that was Rebecca Love Kourlis. She is director at the Institute for the Advancement of the American Legal System at the University of Denver. For more on the Institute and their findings, be sure to visit online.iaal ls.du.edu. And if you're not watching us here on LXPN, be sure to swing by lxpn.com where you can find curated commentary from Lex Blog Network's more than 8,000 members, in addition to more than several hundred more of these LXPN TV video interviews. Thank you for joining me today, Rebecca.
Thank you so much.